Sports.
Welcome to Sportsball. Am I the only one excited? I'm super excited. There we go.
Excited.
Oh my gosh! Welcome to a Sportsball on the Spot edition. We have like the same cast and crew for this one. Isn't that exciting?
Although it's like our team, like your teammate is out of the country. He did so poorly on the spot, kicked him out of the country.
They kicked Jack out of here. Yeah, that's basically what's going on. So welcome to Sportsball, guys. Very happy to have you in today. I'm your host, Tyler Coe, joined by
Joel Heyman.
There we go. And filling in for Jack,
Cole
he's
Gallion.
usually behind the glass.
Behind the glass, they let me out.
Not today.
What's your last name?
Gallion.
I genuinely just learned that just now.
It's me too. They had to tell me
No
before
idea.
the start.
Like there's
long have
like
you two been working
there's like
together?
other Coles at the company, right?
No.
No, there's one.
I'm pretty sure there might be other Coles at the company. I don't really know.
No,
No, there's not. There's just one Cole. Just one
I think
Cole.
I'm the only one.
We're off to
So that
a
means I
rip-roaring
don't have to
start.
know your last name.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah,
perfect.
there's only one.
So that.
The only thing you need to know about this show
What
is
is it?
Michigan.
Oh my God.
Michigan.
Oh my
Michigan.
God.
We have to talk about Michigan.
We've talked about this. Like this show has been ahead of the curve every single week. We told you in like week 3, kicking is a problem in football this year.
We've been telling people about
the year
this.
of terrible kickers.
Yes,
It's
we've been
amazing.
making a point of it almost every single show. We've seen you. We showed you miss kicks, miss punts, bad special teams play.
Amazing.
Nothing beats what happened in Ann Arbor over the weekend, folks. If you haven't seen this, you're living under a rock.
You have to watch it. We're going to show
has
them the
seen
play,
this.
right?
We're going to show the play.
Last play of the game.
Just
Clock.
You know, we're going to tie it out.
Six, six.
Finish it out. Finish
Take
it
it
out.
away.
What?
Take it
Okay,
away,
never
Michigan.
mind.
Here's a ball.
Oh,
there you
did
go.
You want that ball? Okay, here you go.
Here, just walk into the thing.
He's not going to score, though, is he? And he is totally going to score.
Scores.
This is the most unbelievable thing I've ever seen.
Surrender Cobra.
You know what's funny? Surrender Cobra. And you know what's funny? Like if you go back to the picture of that fan, that guy got like in the front, got all the billing.
Yeah.
But if you look behind him
the
to the
chick.
right, it was the
Yeah,
girl in
she-
the back who was just like literally having some sort of coronary condition happen to her. It was painful.
It was
Thought could
painful.
not describe it.
It was
Thought
painful.
couldn't describe
So, folks, if you didn't happen to see what that was,
Do we
that
play?
was.
Do we have to almost play? You almost have to play the audio of the
play,
announcer.
Yeah, do we have the audio for that?
Of the broadcast.
Of the broadcast? We might.
Get it out.
Yeah, we have it right there.
Whoa, he has trouble with the snap, and the ball is free. It's picked up by Michigan State's Jalen Watts Jackson, and he scores on the last play of the game. Unbelievable.
That announcer actually died
Yeah, right then.
at the end of that play, which was like, it was amazing. They had the game completely wrapped up. It was the last play of the game. It was 4th down. I think there was like, I don't know how much time was left on the clock.
There was like 2 seconds left. Like, this game was over. Like, I could watch that over and over and over again. If you're a Michigan fan, it's going to play in your head for the rest of your life. That might go down, and I know we
and that was that was going to be a big upset for them, right?
I don't know if it's a big upset, but Jim Harbaugh in year 1, that's a huge marquee game right there, especially since Michigan State has won 6 of the last 7.
And
I also have a stat for that.
Stat
That
guy
was
up
the-
here doing
yeah,
stats,
good.
that's huge.
Yeah,
I
please
think
give
that-
us a stat that's completely incorrect like you did last week about a hockey player's name.
Yes. That was a Michigan coach on his first attempt to beat Michigan State hasn't succeeded for like the last 8 coaches.
Seriously.
Yeah.
Wow.
So
Their
you
first
knew
game-
that was happening. So you, Cole, out of anyone else, knew when that punt was happening. You said something weird is going to happen.
Yeah, I
on
said
this
it's a
play.
curse.
Well,
It's a
again,
curse.
I mean, and also the kicker is Australian, right? This is the second Australian kicker in college to like. I'm not saying it's Australia's fault or Australia's or
not
anything.
gonna
But
do
just
that.
You're not-
You're
I know,
not gonna do
I'm
that
on my
right
way
now.
there.
Yeah.
You know, it's funny because 4 years ago I went down there and it was the All Blacks of New Zealand versus France in the World Cup of Rugby. And New Zealand won, and we got to the airport, and it was nothing, like we were walking around the airport, it was nothing but like sad French people with like the French flag painted on their face.
Aren't
I don't
they
know
used to
why.
that, though? They've been getting their ass kicked like throughout history.
And then it happened again. It happened again this week, where the
Indian
French
War.
again lost to the All Blacks, and I'm on my way down there to the airport to see sad French people. It's just going to be great.
That's
but-
awesome. By the way, we are going to get to that. I'm excited to get to that. We will talk rugby. We have some highlights from that game as well. But this one, guys, like just to put this into perspective of how insane this was. This might be And I know we're quick to rush to judgment to say, and we're quick to anoint things the greatest of all time, like a second after they happen. Everybody does that. That was the greatest game I've ever seen. That was the greatest play. No, it wasn't. Like, you got to let it marinate. This, however, might beat everything all time. And I'm not one to say that. This might. Now, people are going to say this isn't as good as the kick six with Auburn and Alabama. I think it is. I think this is better than the band is on the field. Because let me tell you why. Let me tell you why. ESPN broke this down. This happening, Michigan State winning the game like that, had a 0.2% chance of happening. And it happened.
Well, wait a minute. We went over this stat again a couple weeks ago where it was the UT kicker who missed the field goal. And it was the same thing. It was a 0.2.
It was something crazy.
Yeah.
It was a point. Was it 0.4? Oh, you're right. It was 0.4.
But just think about all the things that have to go. And could we play it again? I mean, just have this thing on loop because this play is so unbelievable. First of all, so many things can happen right here. Yeah,
midfield.
It was a decent. If he just falls on it right there, if he just falls on it, the play's dead.
Yeah.
If he doesn't kick the ball a little bit and Michigan State gets it, and they get tackled, then the play's dead. And then to run it back to get a touchdown. All those things to happen
but
for them to win.
You know what's funny, though,
insane.
is if you're Jim Harbaugh and you're a smart coach, presumably, Michigan State brought 11 guys. Right? And of course, why wouldn't you bring 11 guys, right? Because you know the clock's going to come out. And if you have 11 guys coming,
if you happen to get the block,
that can happen. Somebody's going to, you have one guy that's going to be uncovered.
But we've seen block punts, but then you fall on them or you recover them and you don't return them for touchdowns.
I don't know that kicker ever, I don't know if you look at that kicker, I don't know that he even had the chance to even like fall on the ball. Like it was out of his hands.
But to try and kick it the way he did
but then
probably wasn't the way to go about it.
He like reached and was spinning around with it and threw it into
And by the way, Jim Harbaugh is still there on the sidelines just looking.
That's all you can do.
He's just like looking like 1,000 miles.
It's funny though because if you look, I mean, I have the stats right in front of me, but it's just sort of like if those guys played again, I think Michigan State wins. Right? They had twice the amount of first downs that Michigan had. Like, there's a lot of stats.
No, they dominated. Michigan State like dominated the second half of that game. Michigan went up early, but they should have won. But like
passing yards,
the game had a lot more hilarity to it. There was a news reporter outside that it was actually like reporting live on the game, saying like Michigan, big win for Coach Harbaugh in year one, and like you can hear him going crazy right now, celebrating. No,
that was
not the case at all.
It's like people in the background throwing themselves.
Sadness.
Now, a few people took it really to heart. You know, there was a really upset fan. I think we might have an image of him. He was very upset. Should we just let the auto play on this one? It's a grown man crying.
I haven't seen this.
Oh my Oh my God!
It's like he's just like watched the ending of Titanic.
The people behind him turn around. They're just like, I'm not going to deal with this.
The fact, you know what he needs is he needs a bump of coke. That was what would
he needs to talk to that chick at the.
If he was in Houston, he would just be feeling absolutely fine. Like the fact that there's cameras in the stands now is so awesome.
And somebody just like that. I'm not going to say that poor guy. Don't cry like that. Like that's awful.
That's not even that bad. I mean, it's like yes, that's a painful way to lose the game, but it's like I don't know. I don't know. I guess
it's that. I don't know if I would ever cry. I don't know if I ever
reality.
It's the same, like for every single fan of every single sport, it's the same thing where like you get into it, and something like so horrifyingly jarring happens to you in one game that's so painful that it's just sort of like, well, I have to like sort of reassess my life and start like pulling back a little bit.
There's places like that in the country. Like I don't know if Michigan is one, but like Alabama is because there's not a lot to do there. Like places where there's not a lot to do except go to the games. That's it.
Do you think that there's a single person at the University of Michigan who has been on the internet since that moment? Like just like that's it. I'm just like
all of them, Joel, because they're on the text line right now. What is that? The text line? Well, guess what, folks? You can text in live during the show. Look at the number down here. It's going to show up any second now. You can call in or you can. You can text in the show. Let me just read a few of these text messages that are coming in. There's just a few on the Michigan subject. Talk about how Jim Harbaugh got what he deserved by being a cocky bastard, punting the ball to us with 10 seconds left thinking we wouldn't do anything. Our defense plays to the last second. Suck our cocks, Harbaugh. Fuck your hype. Wow, I think that's a Michigan State fan.
What yard line were they? They were on like they were on the
50. They were midfield.
They were midfield. Oh, well, you might have a good point.
Somebody said a moment of silence for the entirety of Michigan. I think we can all agree with that one. If you happen to be in Michigan over the weekend, I hope you're okay. God bless you.
I
and
love
your
the
family.
fact that
Well,
if you're a
it's
Michigan State, I love the fact if you're a Michigan State fan, we don't even count you as being in Michigan.
Yeah, it's like no,
you're just
not
you're
real
not-
Michigan. Real Michigan.
Oh my gosh, it was so bad, and they're just rolling in. We'll get to a few more. I think we have a few voicemails. Do we have anything on the Michigan game? How about the Michigan voicemail that we have queued up? And it's I think it's C. This is how we do this. Like I have a card and it has like, has like the letter on it because we can't like
Does
this
it?
right.
Lansing, I got to watch every person jump out of their seats. Fuck you, U of M. I finally got to see a last-second victory. We won it the best way possible. Go green, go white, go Spartans.
That's pretty good. That's good right there.
That's pretty good. I mean,
That's
it's so now if you're the thing is too is like if you're Michigan State, like what's their schedule? What's Michigan State's schedule?
Well, here's the crazy thing in the Big Ten is that it could go a few different ways. Michigan State could end up running the table. They still have to play Ohio State, number one team in the country.
Yeah.
Let's say they all lose.
I think that's anybody's game.
So let's say Michigan State loses to Ohio State and Ohio State loses to Michigan. All three of
course.
them would have one
Rock, paper,
loss.
scissors.
And it actually goes to a fifth tiebreaker where the playoff committee would decide who actually goes in to the Big Ten championship game. Who do you think they're going to pick?
Well, it's
Buckeyes?
What's the last? I mean, what would be the last game, right? Like who in that schedule is the last
Well,
game?
it's a big game. It's Ohio State, Michigan, and oh my gosh, can't wait for that one.
It's Ohio State, Michigan.
Yeah.
Oof, boy, that makes it hard too because if Ohio State theoretically loses that game, like, and again, you're on the board. I mean, it's just sort of like, God, how do you not pick Ohio State just because they were?
they're
it's like
champions. They're national
you're going to
champions.
leave them. I don't know. We'll see what happens. But we have one more Michigan clip, and I implore you folks, go watch that over and over again. You still can't believe it every time it happens. But we have a Michigan fan who he did something to the TV, and I think for all Michigan fans, you're behind this guy. Right there. Fuck you. And I love that he's wearing a Patriots hat too.
That makes it even better.
I mean, because it's Brady. Because
Yeah,
Brady
that is
went to
Brady.
Michigan, and I love it. But that
is
where did that come from?
Brady
That aggression. I
coming
don't
forward
know if
in
that was at
time
the end of
to
the
the future.
game. But that was the greatest. Like can we see that again, please?
You got to be quick twitch if you're a cameraman in college football
so
nowadays.
Good. Fuck you.
Oh, hey.
I think.
Oh, that's so awesome, man. That's great.
It's funny because we have cameras picking up all sorts of inappropriate things all across many leagues this week, right?
Yes, we do.
Yes.
We do.
Yes, we do.
By the way, before we venture any further into the craziness that was football this weekend, because if you think we're leaving the Colts out, Indianapolis,
That may be worse than the
we have some
Michigan
things
play.
to say. We have some things to say. But wanted to say we have a stat guy filling in today, Nick. My buddy Nick, he's right there. You see him in the booth. Hey, buddy, he's there with the cooler that you beat the shit out of last
Nick,
week.
if we throw any like questions at you, like I don't know, like the name of a hockey player, you will definitely be on top of that, right? Like
I got
you will
that.
get that correct.
You got it.
All right, good. You're there for us, right?
Who was it, McDonald or McDriver?
I think McDavilson.
Oh,
Is that
man.
McDaniel?
Somebody will figure that out for us.
McGyver.
Maybe
He-
the entire
McGyver.
internet.
I'm not going to get his name correct until he becomes like the points leader in hockey. Like if he wins
He would now become
the
the points. If
Ross
this show
Trophy. That's
has
when we
proven
get his
anything. He
name.
will become the points leader in hockey.
That's right.
Oh, that's
Which could
awesome.
happen this year. We'll see.
That could. We're going to get to hockey, some other stuff later in the show, but what we got to get to right now is that my team's in trouble, guys. My team.
Which is your team?
My Cubs. My Cubs are in trouble
yeah.
right now.
Cubbies
We got to
are
get to
in
some baseball talk because
deep doo-doo.
baseball we're right in the thick of it. And by the time you watch the show, because all of you are watching live, some of you will watch tomorrow, and then even a few of you will watch on YouTube on Thursday. But by next week, ALCS, NLCS are going to be done. We're going to know who's in the World Series.
World Series. Yeah.
I think this is easy. I think
Yeah.
this is
You
I
got
think
this
this-
figured
I think
out
it's
I
already?
think I have
You
this
got it
figured out.
I think this is done.
I think that the Royals beat the Blue Jays. I think that's a no-brainer. I think the
playing
Mets
right
beat
now,
the Cubs. I think that's a no-brainer. And I think the Mets I think the Fighting Bartolo Colognes go all the way. I think I'm ready to declare that. I mean, it's funny because it's just sort of like if you look at the Royals Blue Jays series, it's basically a situation where if you're going to have a lot of hits, the Blue Jays are going to win that game, right? And if you keep it like defensive, I think the Royals are going to win that game.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
absolutely. That's the way the first two games went,
Yeah.
and that went for the Royals. So the way it sits right now, Royals are up 2-1 on Toronto. But Nick, stat guy in there, Can you give us an
Got an
update
eye
on the game?
Bottom of the 6th inning, Kansas City leads at 5-2.
So I'm not even making a
There
big.
you go.
I'm not even making a big proclamation right now because as we talk about, they're in like
As
they're
we're talking about,
already up 2-1
losing.
games.
They're already up 2-1.
And what's the real loser in all this is if you're a fan of the Blue Jays sitting up in the upper decks, you're not allowed to have canned beer anymore.
Yeah, because y'all
Like
fucked it up in Canada the last
they
game.
don't sell canned beer anymore because they're afraid they're going to throw it down onto the field.
No, the series against the Rangers,
Yeah.
they got
That-
pissed off about.
That's that inning. There was
They still have Coke.
Oh, that was crazy.
boy that one inning that took place between the Rangers and the Blue Jays. And that was unbelievable. It was like an hour-long inning where you had like 3 separate bench clearing incidents, and you had
bad.
fans
They're throwing like beers
beer
onto the
down onto
field.
the-
Yeah, and you think of Canada as a very passive, like
That's where they get it out.
quiet,
They go to
polite
Blue Jays
place.
games, hockey games.
Seriously,
Well,
like
it's
when
all out there.
Vancouver didn't win the Stanley Cup, they like burnt the city
if
down.
you're really like polite, you're like, oh, well, that guy's really repressing stuff.
Yeah.
And if it comes across the wrong thing, it's like that's Canada as like a nation.
You have
It's
your
like they're
death
very
arenas,
polite, they're very
which
repressed.
are
And you put them in
sports stadiums.
sports,
Yeah.
they lose their mind. But there's nothing wrong with that.
No, that's the point of sports.
I'm completely. I wouldn't be throwing beer cans onto the. It was funny too because it's just sort of like when the fans of the Blue Jays started throwing stuff down. The Toronto players, I thought, did a really good job of being sort of mature about it. They were coming out of the dugout and they were sort of signaling to the fans like, no, stop. And I thought that was really nice and really
Yeah,
good.
it's
And
good
of course,
sport.
the Rangers
There.
saw that and misinterpreted it as like, let's fight or whatever. It was like total misinterpretation. And that's what like led to like some of the
which was crazy.
it was crazy.
Yeah, so I hope, Canada, stop throwing beers at other teams. It's not good. So
Get your
Royals
teams
are
beat
up right now. The bad one is the Cubbies. Cubbies are struggling right now against the Mets. Mets are like on fire right now. They can't stop hitting home runs. Daniel Murphy has had 5 home runs
4
in the
home runs
postseason
last game.
consecutively. Yeah, it's been insane. They're playing lights out. Jake Arrieta, the savior for the Cubs, he got rocked the other day. I don't know what's going to happen to the Cubs. And I think maybe some of this, people are blaming me for this. Can we play that one voicemail? This guy, he challenged me to something interesting. Can you play voicemail D?
Tyler, screw you for picking the Cubs to win. I hope the Cubs lose. I hope they never win the World Series, ever. I hope nobody wins the World Series this year. And I hope a goat eats your pants.
Oh, well, that's
Fucking
not
goat?
That's not fair to the goat.
That isn't,
really.
yeah.
I mean, let's kind of take the goat's
goat
feelings
doesn't want
into
these pants.
consideration.
I wear a lot of sweatpants. It's always sweaty down there. I don't know if a goat wants to go chomping on that.
Kind of gross.
But I might have to do something like that if the Cubs don't win because they're down 2-0. Do the Cubs have any life left?
Well, yeah, I think they do. I mean, it's like I think it's easy for any of these series to go 6 or 7 games, right? I mean, when you're talking, both of these teams at this point have the experience and the players to go deep. So it's like I'm not. It's a weird thing for me where if you follow sports, you sort of have your teams.
Yeah.
I have a very good understanding of the American League. I don't have quite of a great understanding for the National League. Yeah. It's always like those weird teams over there. You don't know what's going on.
Yeah,
I mean, really,
they're over
like,
there.
With everything that's going on in this series and with the Mets, like the question that everyone in New York is asking is, what are the Yankees going to do in the offseason?
Because they're going to steal all our players. Yeah,
I mean, it's just
they're
sort of
going
like,
to be there, and that's the way it
I don't
goes. And it's
know.
funny you bring that up because I actually hope the Cubs lose tonight. I hope they lose and they go down to a 3-0 hole because I want to see them pull off the miracle like the Red Sox did back
That'd be
in
awesome.
04. No other team in baseball has come back from a championship series down 3-0 to come back and win it, except for Boston in 2004, which is still the best baseball ever played.
Yeah,
and if you've never seen that, go buy the DVDs or like illegally do it or something like that because
Watch
it's
on YouTube.
It's the
Do
best
something.
baseball in the history of baseball.
Yeah.
Oh, that was definitely the
And
best
so I'm like
series that
hoping
I've
the
ever
Cubs
seen.
can
It was
do it.
amazing,
Otherwise,
yeah.
some poor fucking goat's going to eat my pants.
What do you think the statistical odds are that Bartman is hiding in the stands somewhere?
I don't
Right?
think he's there. I really
there's,
don't think
like,
he's
people with
Chicago.
Matt-
People are starting to call me the new Bartman on a text line. I didn't cause this shit. It's not my fault.
Listen, if any foul balls come near our desk, just stay away from them, right? Yeah. I will hold you back. I will hold you back from the foul balls.
Oh,
yeah,
my
you know what's
gosh.
funny? You know what was easy to call a top in the Toronto series is Toronto is now selling bedazzled hats for $200.
I saw that.
And the second I saw a bedazzled hat for $200, I was
Like,
like,
it's done.
That's
They're
it.
out.
that's
They're
like
done.
that's like Letterman jackets for the Texans back in the day.
Oh,
like when
God.
you do that shit.
Yeah, you can't have
Why would you
Letterman
do
jacket.
that?
That was a clear. Remember when the University of Miami used to be like the dominant
The U.
powerhouse
The
in
U.
college football, and then they came to a bowl game where they were all dressing like matching camo, and it was like that was the end. That was the end of the
Yeah, do you know,
program.
do you know, no, but you know who they played in that game?
Who's
That was a 1990 Cotton Bowl.
Oh, that was it.
They came and beat the shit out of Texas.
Oh, they did beat the shit out
Like,
of
they
Texas. But
scored
that
a-
wasn't that. I
I
don't think
can't
that was the
remember
that wasn't the camo.
No,
I think
that
it
was the
Penn,
camo.
I thought it was Penn State.
No, I think it was a camo that
Was
they
it?
did Texas. Yeah, I think it was.
No. It had to be Penn State because you cannot wear matching
Stat
camo.
guy Nick, look that up, but I'm pretty sure.
No, I think
that
it was Penn-
1990 Cotton Bowl. They came in.
They did kill
They scored
us.
a touchdown in the remember in Forrest Gump when Forrest keeps running?
Yeah.
You know, he keeps going into the
That was-
tunnel.
that was bad.
Miami, one of the Miami guys scored a touchdown and
Just kept
ran,
running.
kept
Kept running in the
running
tunnel.
into the tunnel. They set an NCAA record that game for most penalties.
You can't-
in a college football game. Miami did, and they still won. They won like 40-3 or
You
something.
can't have a job where you're forced to wear like a matching costume of all of your other like coworkers, and then in your off time also wear matching costumes of what all your because that's weird.
It
like
is
you
weird.
can't take it that far.
It is weird, but if you
Like,
go
that's
all
that.
in,
Once you
if
do
you
that,
go
it's
all
done.
in,
No, it doesn't work.
No.
if you go
all in.
all in, and that's the motto of this show, all in.
Oh,
right
nice.
there.
All in.
What's
Transition.
up, Nick? See, I showed your flag. Thank you so much. We'll get to that later. But I don't know. Sometimes it works out. Like 2007, Patriots, Giants. Patriots were undefeated. You remember that? Undefeated. The Giants wore funeral. They wore all black to bury the Patriots' perfect season.
Oh, and it worked.
And it worked.
You know what's-
sometimes
you know
it
what's-
works.
That's tacky, but that's not that tacky.
It's not
leather
that tacky.
jackets.
But if you go all
not
in
leather.
with an idea like that and you follow through, that's okay. But I don't know if the bedazzling is really going to work out for the Jays.
You know what's funny is someone was talking to Brady, and he said that the best team he had ever been on was that 2007 New England team, and
Yeah,
who lost in the Super Bowl. That's
Randy,
scary.
Randy Moss.
That was Randy Moss year.
Yeah.
That was.
Yeah, they had they had the talent because obviously people are comparing this year's team to that. He's saying that this year's team is as close to that year's team as he's been on. So,
Yeah.
And I think
I
so.
don't
I
know.
mean, they got the passion. They beat the Colts. Oh yeah.
hey, the Colts.
The Colts.
The Colts.
hell?
The
Isn't that
Colts.
funny how it works out? Remember last year the
Hey.
whole Deflategate thing? Well, folks, the game that started that entire debacle for an entire fucking year that wasted our time every 2 seconds on ESPN was when the Colts played the Patriots.
Tattle told.
Yes, they
On the
did.
Patriots.
They did tattletale.
And
was not
that
cool.
literally was like an interception, right? The Colts got an interception.
Colts got the
And they had the
interception.
ball, and they were like,
And he's
"What?
like,
This
yeah,
ball
yeah.
feels a little like
good.
squishy."
And then
Yeah.
what came of
This feels
that is
catchable.
that the Patriots just butt fucked them 45-7. Like it wasn't even close. It was the stupidest story that carried on for an entire year.
And so
Entire season.
the sentiment was,
Season, year.
now this is going to be the game. This is the first rematch from this whole debacle.
This is the Brady
so the
Gronk
Patriots are going
season.
to kill,
Pissed. Yes.
are going to kill the Colts.
And it didn't quite happen like that. It was actually kind of close.
I thought it was going to be. I
kinda close.
told Jack, I said I thought the Colts were going to beat the spread.
The Colts
and
killed
they did.
themselves.
They did.
Colts killed
Well,
themselves.
should we take a look at how they killed themselves?
Let's take a look at how
Let's
they
take a
killed
look
themselves.
at what I'm calling the stupidest play in NFL history.
A really good play.
Yeah, it's funny. You
don't know if
almost
we have
have to.
audio
You
on this,
almost
but I
have to
think we
go back further in time to see what this play was, because it made no sense
So
whatsoever.
basically what you're looking at right there is it's 4th and 3. The Colts are down, as you can see, by a touchdown, and they're trying to do a crazy trick play. So they have everybody usually where they are, under center, lined up all properly. Then they all shuffle them down to the near sideline, except for 2 guys. So the Patriots
And
are
that was
freaking out. They don't know what's going on.
And that was a corner playing center, snapping the ball to a wide receiver.
Because that always works 100% of the time. So as you can see right here,
This is an illegal play.
what they're doing is like the double reverse fake lateral throwback Hail
With a
Mary
swinging
play.
gate.
As we all know, that's how that goes down. So they do it, and then they snap the ball, and as you can see, it just really didn't work out because fucking
Because there's
logic.
an entire defensive line. And
You know, I got to
One?
say,
It's like 8
One
guys
guy?
versus 1 guy. Like, when was that ever
my
going to
favorite
work?
reaction, I don't know if we have it, was Bill Belichick's reaction, where he's just on the sidelines.
like that. There's like 2 things there, right? Where it's like, you know, if you run a play like that, you know that Belichick is in your head.
Yeah.
Right. Like Belichick is in your head if you're running a play like that.
Right.
The other thing is that like this is going to be the first team, and I think the Colts make the playoffs. This is the first time where you have a team make the playoffs and they still fire the head coach. Right? They're going to look
this has
back.
to be.
They're going to look back at Chuck
It's
Mazzano.
happened before.
Well,
I remember
like,
Ken Wisenhunt, or not Ken
Yeah.
Wisenhunt, Marty Schottenheimer. He got fired when the Chargers went 14-2 one year.
Yeah,
They got bounced on the first round of the playoffs.
Yeah.
But to that play, so here's what the Colts were trying to do. They said they were trying to get the Patriots to jump off sides.
Yeah, swinging gate.
Or trying to have
extra man,
extra man on the field
Yep.
to get a flag, anything to screw up the Patriots and make them mess up to get
Right.
that short yardage
Right.
penalty to get the first down.
Right.
Here's the one caveat to that. They were told by their coach, Chuck Pagano, don't snap the fucking ball. Why would you snap the fucking ball?
You know what
How are you going to beat that? And he's over there on the sideline looking at him, mouthing it. Why did you snap the ball? They weren't supposed to snap
when they
the ball.
when they ran that play in practice, apparently the guy that was supposed to play the center got injured. And he was out in the locker room. So when they put that play together, like the backup went into that play and he didn't know
one
any
job.
better. And the thing was,
how many times have we said that this year?
It's
You
not
have
even
one
a job.
job.
It's not even a job. You don't
It's
snap.
an instruction. Don't snap the ball.
and for some reason, I think he got the instruction where it's like, if you touch me, then I'm supposed to snap the ball. And so like he felt a hand on him, and so it was like, there's a hand on me. I guess I snapped the ball.
What was that for you guys? Like, is that the stupidest play you've ever seen? Like, I mean,
I missed it. What happened?
crying Michigan fan again. He
dude.
was sad. He was a Colts fan as well.
The thing is like, if you have a play like that, did it cost them the game?
I think it did cost them the game. The
Yeah.
Patriots got the ball back and they scored on it.
And that
I
has to
guess,
kill your
I mean-
morale. That's like, we just pulled the dumbest play in the history of the NFL.
Jesus, and that's just so bad. You know, it's not nearly as bad though. I don't know. I guess we'll let you guys decide. It's not nearly as bad as what else happened over this NFL
And
weekend.
we were talking
is-
about that with the guy flicking the camera
Yeah,
off.
we were talking about camera work. Camera work is essential. Here at Rooster Teeth, we have great people behind the camera. I would know. I'm one of them. We also have some people in the broadcast booth that are switching properly and everything else like that. So when you're doing interviews or you're shooting something, whatever
Yeah.
we do, you have people that are constantly checking to see if you're making mistakes.
Working very hard.
You're checking the angles. You see what's in the background, what's going on. We had this video from over the weekend, an interview with Pac-Man Jones.
Wait,
And
we
as
should
can
warn
see,
you. There's going to be nakedness here.
you're going to
Probably.
see
Naked men.
You're going to
There's
see
dong.
some south mouth and some shaft right now, and you're going to see man butt a little bit right there, top shaft. Or I guess that would be the bottom of the shaft.
The question that I have
Be
to
like
ask.
the attachy
base.
part.
The
base,
question that
base
I
shaft,
have to
yeah.
ask is what could be taking place during that interview that is so interesting that you don't notice a bunch of naked dudes walking around in the background?
I just don't understand why anybody, like everybody,
How do you not notice
they not know
that?
How does a cameraman or the guy doing the interview with Pac-Man not like
Well, it
tap
is
him on the
Pac-Man
shoulder?
Jones.
How could he not notice that?
Like, what could he possibly be
Like,
talking
it's,
about?
It's
where
something you
don't-
just can't avoid. Like, it's like, oh my God, there's naked guys.
It
Like,
doesn't
what?
make-
You're
it
going to
doesn't-
miss
This
that?
interview
It
is
doesn't
so
make any sense.
important.
And I mean, for the longest time, you've been waiting because there's like more and more cameras, and there's more and more
Right, right.
reporters,
Yeah.
and it's the only
Like, it's gotta
only
happen
job where it's
eventually.
like all of a sudden you have an environment where people are taking their clothes off, and then you're
How can you
running,
be that oblivious? Like, it's
I
a
can't believe
locker room.
I can't believe it hadn't happened sooner, right?
Yeah.
I mean, how has that not happened sooner?
Because you have
Yeah.
people constantly checking to make sure none of that ever
People
happens.
doing their
Ever.
job.
You just
checking
become
to make
you
sure
become
there's no
you become
naked people in the camera
emotionally
frame.
you become emotionally
I don't know.
dead to it.
I don't know. It just
You just become emotionally-
blows my mind that stuff still happens on a day to day.
You just become completely unaware of stuff because you've just been around like stupidness for so
People
long.
really
that's,
need to pay
that's
more
what it is.
attention.
They really do need to pay more attention. So I don't think that guy's going to have a job.
Completely ridiculous.
You let something like that happen. You let Shaft happen
Oh, yeah.
on national television.
You have to fire the reporters or the
You
people
have
at
to
the
fire the
desk.
entire team.
the entire
The
department
company, ESPN should shut down.
and the show.
They
All
actually,
of them.
ESPN is letting
Well,
like 300
yeah.
people go, so we're not sure if
That's
it's
why.
associated with that
That's
thing
absolutely
that just
brutal.
happened.
Just
but,
for-
Maybe that was
so-
a
So there's a
more
lot
views.
of there's a lot of stupidness
do you
going
remember
on
that time they had
in the
the
NFL this weekend.
like? And do you remember that time where they had the women's locker room and they were? I'm just kidding.
Oh man,
No,
that
but
is-
I remember back in the day where it was just sort of like there were a lot of like hesitations about having female reporters in
well,
locker rooms.
that's one of the reasons why is because and I can understand why.
And every single female reporter that they talk to nowadays, they've all seen everybody's stuff at this point.
yeah.
And they're just sort of like, yeah, basically the rookies will drop their towel on purpose and they'll do it just to get a reaction. Like where it's like certain players are just going to like walk around naked around
Like,
female
you're
reporters.
just trying to do it
drop
for
it.
like a quick laugh, like a quick
Yeah.
bit. It's like, yeah, this is funny.
Yeah.
We're making fun of
Look at this.
If you're
yeah.
dating like a female sports reporter who like does football, do you become nervous? She works around naked
she
dudes
seems-
all the
she
time.
seems-
If you're
Tom Brady's
me,
dick.
Joel,
Or like-
it kind of depends on the guy. If you're me, yeah, I'm terrified. I don't want her going in those locker rooms. Not at all.
I don't know, man. And I guess it's just one of those
How's
things.
your day, honey? It's good.
So,
What'd you
Rodgers
say?
did-
How many dicks
Yeah?
did you see
Yeah.
today?
I have a story. I don't know if I can tell this on this podcast, but I have a legit story about a dong
There's nothing new with this.
for a professional player. Like a
Not
true
the
story.
South Korean guy.
No. I don't know.
That's the
Maybe
dumbest
I'll
joke
save that story. Like maybe I can like put it
Story time
like in
later.
a journal or something like that. I don't know. Maybe that's what we'll do.
That sounds nice.
I'll put it
Only-
in
only you
I'll
can
put
make
it
that
in the
joke.
online journal, and like you guys can see, like I have a story about a guy and his dong, and he played for the Red Sox. That's what I'll give you.
You know,
right
there's
there.
talk. There's talk about. You're talking about Jason Varitek.
No.
Well, you're talking about Jason.
I'm not talking about Jason. All right, I'm going to
You're talking about Jason Veritek.
All right,
You're talking
so-
about another player.
So before
You told me this story before, and now every time I see that player, all I can think about is the story. So you're about to pollute everyone else.
All right,
but
so
go
do you
ahead.
want me to tell the story now? Now that you just like ruin the source?
I don't know. That's your source. So
All
this
right,
is
whatever.
bad.
So maybe there was a player who was maybe like hanging out with family members who I happen to be friends with, who maybe that player shared a story.
By the way, no
about
one has mentioned Jason Veritek during
No.
this story.
Not
at all.
now, not
so
ever.
We don't even know what you're talking about.
Who mentioned a player for the Red Sox who, quote unquote, said he had the largest penis he'd ever seen on a human being. Played for the Red Sox, and that's my story about a Red Sox dong. And I'm not going to tell you who the guy was, but yeah, that's a true story.
You know, if you're
I know who it is.
you're a sports guy, you're trying to like make correlations to like, does that have some sort of like effect on his ability as a player? Does that somehow make him a better player? Like there was that pitcher that had 6 fingers back in the day.
Who had 6 fingers back in the day?
There was a pitcher that had 6 fingers back in the
Stat
day.
guy who had 6
That
fingers.
guy.
There's a
Nick.
couple of them. There's 2 of them, but like it's like you think, is that cheating? He has 6 fingers. Can he has like more movement on the?
Well,
on his
having an
curveball?
extra
gotta
large
lose
dong,
one.
if you drop dong, I don't know if that gives you an advantage.
We're not.
I don't know.
By the way, we're not talking about Jason Veritek. We're
no.
talking about a
he's not,
player
yeah.
naming another player, but in a completely unrelated note, his name's coming up for a potential manager. Like people are saying
And, I
Jason
think,
Veritek.
and he's one of the better catchers, I think, at least in my lifetime watching the guy. Total game manager. I think he should be a manager.
It's funny because like all managers are all like former catchers, right? And it's sort of like, does that mean that like pitchers are idiots?
Yeah.
How many pitchers are there? Man, how many catchers
Well, have you
are there?
seen?
There's tons of.
You've seen Bull Durham. I mean, yeah, pitchers are weird people, man. Like pitchers
They're
will tell
hanging
you
out
that.
the-
They're just head
hanging out the
cases.
bolt way back there.
Yeah, you stick them in,
back there.
stick them
Don't-
back there for
don't
the
pay them no
entire
mind.
season. You call on them to do. They're like the reverse kicker almost. Like you
Yeah.
call in a kicker to do something really important, and it's kind of like that for a pitcher.
Yeah.
You stay in your little cell.
call on you when we
We're
need
gonna
you.
call on you, and you better not fuck this
Well,
up.
it's funny because if you're a manager, and especially if you're talking about closers, you don't want them to think, right? Where it's just sort of like you have to go. Like if you're a major league pitcher in baseball, especially closers, you have like a decade to dumb them down as much as possible. Where it's just sort of like, don't look around you, don't look at the scoreboard, don't understand the circumstance you're in.
then he just
be an idiot. Just
It's goggles that only let them see.
Exactly.
no, you
One
only
way.
let them like think about that pitch, and like that conditioning must like make it so they're not allowed to be mad. They're so dumb at the end of the process of like
anything
being a
else.
pitcher.
They only know how to
where
throw.
you just let the catcher think about everything else. That these guys, I don't know, right?
Like, you're going to
New
run the
York.
offense. Just tell this idiot what to do.
Yeah, like New York, he was a catcher, right? The Angels, he was a catcher.
Yeah.
I know a lot of catchers,
I like Vitek. He's a good guy. He's a really
and
good
he was
guy.
a smart guy.
I probably
A good hitter.
Like the text line just blew up, and like everybody's asking me like who's the guy. I should not
You
have
don't
told
want to.
this.
You don't want to
You don't
know
wanna-
who the
no,
guy
no,
is
you don't
because
wanna
when
know
you
who the
see
guy is.
him, all you're going to think is like, that guy has like big junk.
Just do the math. Shoot me a
biggest-
tweet.
I can
like,
tell you,
we'll
he's a
figure it out.
commentator on one of the sports
No,
shows.
he's not.
He is. He's a
He's not a
commentator.
commentator.
He's a commentator because I saw him the other night commentating on a baseball game, and every
shit,
time they
he
went to him, I was like, that guy has big junk. That guy has big junk.
All right, so the mystery of the Red Sox penis. That'll be the name of this podcast. I
Oh
believe.
my
Mystery of the Red
goodness.
Sox
Yeah,
penis.
I don't know. Dong has been prevalent in sports lately. Like I don't know what it is. I mean,
Dong is a lot more interesting if you don't directly see it.
exactly.
Yeah.
Where
it
it's
is.
just if it's
Slightly off-frame
shrouded in
Dong.
mystery, Dong
Exactly,
becomes
for
a
sure.
lot.
In fact, there was like a local news affiliate that was showing a story the other night. I don't know if it really went the way that they thought. It might have been the player we're talking about. I might have got the team wrong. It could have been for the Cubs again. I don't know. It could have been. Well, let's see. Let's see the news report. There's a mascot. Bears mascot. No, I don't think that was the guy I was talking about. But what? Oh.
Whoa!
Now that.
Wait a minute. I don't understand what's happening right now. Tate, I don't understand what's happening right now. It's like that scene in Fight Club. Somebody's putting a penis in. I don't understand what's going on there.
That was like a
was more
slow
than a
down
frame.
version. That was like slow-mo version of Fight Club. That
was
a long clip.
That was more than a frame.
That was more than a frame. That was a few seconds.
They accidentally broadcasted that image on the news.
Did one of you guys draw that and send that into Chicago? Somebody's trolling Chicago with that picture.
Oh my god!
So that's Bear Dick. That's what that is. That's what that looks like.
How does it?
I'm trying to think of a joke like, does a bear shit in the woods? Or like, does a bear wear pants? Or like, does a bear have a penis? Yes,
I'm
it
Show
does.
its dick at a baseball field.
If I'm a Cubs fan, I welcome all of that because it's like anything to get your mind off of the GOAT and like the curse. Like, and that will do it. That will immediately change. Like, that will immediately distract you. That will immediately.
I have a way for us to change the fortunes of the Cubs right now because the Cubs are in a 2-0 hole, and I don't like that because I want them to go all the way. So what we're going to do is we're going to do a challenge throughout the week, and all of you can be a part of it. You see that number right there? Boom, right there. That number you call in, and you know who's like the spirit of the Cubs? It's Harry Caray.
Oh, yes.
It is a great sportscaster, Harry Caray. Like
I don't know what comedians
legend.
would do without him.
I don't know what. I mean, Will Ferrell's Harry Caray was like the
significant
best.
now?
Can you guys do Harry Caray? Can you do one? I'm putting you on the spot.
I don't know.
Oh, we were on that show.
If anyone could do it, it would be Cole.
I can try.
So what I want us to
feel like
do
yeah?
is we'll do yours real quick. Do
okay.
it.
This is gonna be bad. Okay, let's see. Harry Caray. I don't know.
No, not Jim Carrey on medication.
That was awful. I'm sorry.
I thought it was kind of
That
nice.
was not bad. But I want people to send that in on the voicemail line, and we're going to pick the best ones. We're going to send some goodwill to Chicago via Harry Caray style.
It's one of the things about baseball that makes baseball great, where for some reason baseball is the one sport where you can allow announcers just to get as old as possible. Like they pull an announcer off the microphone and he dies. Like he gets that old.
Doesn't know what to do anymore.
Let Harry Caray on the air for towards the end, and God love him. God love the guy. That guy was so old towards the end when he was on the air. Like he was like there. I was watching a Cubs game where the pitcher strikes somebody out, and then the catcher like instinctively, when you strike somebody out, you're the catcher. You throw the ball to third base, and Harry Caray's like, "Oh, it's a hit to third base. Oh, and the third baseman gloves it." It's like, no, that's not what happened at all. You know what I mean? And we're just everyone as listeners is like kind of group uncomfortable. It's like that very old relative at the thing.
You let him
go. But
it's kind of like Corso. It's kind of like Lee Corso.
Yeah,
He's kind of the
thing.
guy that gets it done. And speaking of which, I almost forgot. The only good thing to come out of that Michigan game
are our fans.
Our fans.
Yeah.
Our fans are the best.
They're the best.
Our college game day challenge was thrown down week 3. We wanted you guys to show up to the big game at the big house.
Amazing.
Put up Sportsball, the hashtag, the logo, everything. Did we have some people do it?
Oh my God!
I think we had some people do it.
It was amazing.
I think we did.
We had two guys show up with signs, and it was everywhere. It was with Steve Spurrier. It was with Herb Street. It was with David Pollock. It was with Corso. Look at that.
That's awesome.
Look at those Sportsball signs. We were all over the place. I had people texting me during Saturday like, dude, what is Sportsball?
That is
like they
so
watch
awesome.
the show. They don't really like me that much, and they were texting me about it.
They got baseball in it with like a home plate.
Yeah, that was not bad. I love that the Sportsball signs in this one, like they were like together.
Yeah.
They're
that's
like
awesome.
Team Sportsball.
They found each other.
So that's
came
really
together.
cool. So I have their
we're
names.
joining our fans together, right?
So Harrison and Brent, thank you guys so much for those signs. It was so cool. They got a really good gift.
That is genuinely
for the rest of you that saw it, go check out my journal again. In my journal will be more details on the College Game Day Challenge, plus, the Red Sox penis mystery. And also, we have to. Well, I mean,
is that what you're going to reveal it in your journal entry? Is that what you're going to do?
I'm just going to
have the penis mystery scavenger hunt.
clues. Yeah, that's
Go
what
to a
it's going
different
to be.
site, a little section of the site. Find the name.
Yeah, just give hints every single week to who it could have been. But this week, we have to kind of throw down our challenge for College Game Day.
Let's do it.
Let's do it. All right, so College Game Day this week is going to be, well, where is it? Where's it going to be? There's some big games going on this week, right?
Yeah.
No, I don't think there are. There's no big games. Except for, where are they
You know what? The biggest game.
What's the biggest game?
You showed this to me on the sheet, and I didn't even know.
What is this? These are real schools, right?
I don't even know how to read.
James Madison and Richmond. James Madison, the Dukes, and Richmond Spiders are playing this
I didn't even know those were teams.
I didn't know
yeah.
there was a team with the Spiders as a.
Are they located in Michigan somewhere?
No. God, no. I mean,
They're in Virginia, right? It's got to be Virginia.
Western Michigan, Eastern Michigan, Central Western, Eastern Michigan.
And you were telling me this is something that they do. I didn't know that they did that.
Yeah,
where they
every
just
once
go
in a
to
while, College Game Day will be like kind of crazy, and they'll go somewhere, like this, smaller schools.
And these are
stuff like that.
Division One schools.
They're the D1 AA schools from the proud CCA that has teams like Delaware, which is better known for being fake Michigan with their helmets, and Hofstra, a few other teams, I don't know. But so College Game Day is going to be going there, so now we have to lay down the challenge.
Yeah.
And if it's a smart person college, we'll definitely have our fans there.
They sound like smart people schools, for sure.
James
So
Madison.
if
That's
anybody's
2
from
words.
James Madison or anybody goes to Richmond, we're counting on you this week to get it done for College Game Day. We have to figure out what our challenge is going to be. What is it going to be?
What is it going to be?
I don't know, Joel. What do we think it's going to be? Like, what sign do we have them hold up? Like, do we have it be our faces again?
I think it should be a picture of Cole and Brandon kissing.
I'll help out.
Done.
I just said that.
Get a one shot. Get a one shot.
Don't get kicked out of the College Game Day. Okay. I thought they should, right?
There we go.
It's a totally legit sign. It's a totally legit sign.
I think that would be good. That would be good.
I want to see it. I want to see it.
I want to see it too.
My national television debut.
Why?
Okay, so you'd have to have 2 separate signs though. One would have
And
to
then
be
maybe they come
Brandon's
together.
face, and one is Cole's, and then they keys.
Yeah, we
like
need
that,
2 people.
yeah.
We need 2.
We need 2 people. So
Two
hopefully
signs,
we
2
have
signs.
fans that go to James Madison
And
Richmond.
Sportsball
But
somewhere in
imagine
there.
we would,
Hashtag
right?
Sportsball somewhere in there.
Absolutely, that's the big key for that. If you want to get the
and these are
big
football
prize.
teams.
These are football teams. Yeah, these are proud traditions.
Actually, when I was trying to research
I lived in Virginia.
Why do you
for
do that
a
every
while,
time
for
you
a time?
you
I lived
do
in
that?
Virginia.
You backhand these people, these countries or these teams,
It's
and then they fucking hear about it,
it's
and then they
just
yell
to
to
be-
me,
it's
and they
just-
get fucking pissed.
I'm just asking questions. I'm just asking questions that the rest of the audience would ask.
But you do it in a way.
Google didn't recognize them as football teams either. It only showed me baseball.
Now
it only
you're
showed me
getting
baseball.
in with his stick.
I'm-
You're doing
I'm
it
just-
now?
In the future, if Google doesn't validate you, do you exist? I don't know. It's just general questions. They're just general questions.
See, we have people typing in right now on the text line, which you can do as well. Yeah, we have people from James Madison, I think.
They're saying
Or somebody-
where-
And that's in Virginia, right?
Somebody
That's like
acknowledged it.
south
I
of
go to school
DC.
there. I still have yet to find it.
Yes, I think so. So hopefully we have some people that are there, and that's going to be a big deal. So I guess
That will
that's-
be a big
is
deal.
that what it is going to be? Is it going to be Brandon and Cole kissing?
It can be whatever they want, just as
whatever
long as
they
it
want,
has
yes.
sports ball.
Hashtag
Yeah,
sportsball.
just do what you want. That would be my first choice. I think that's wonderful.
I think
I would really
you've already
like to
been
see
given
that.
half the resources. So
Yes, I'm glad this table's this high because there's a lot of excitement going on underneath.
All right, moving on.
Moving on.
What are we moving on to?
I have something else we have to move on to.
Move on to it.
We have to do like our international sports segment.
All right.
Because there's a
I'm
thing
excited
that
about
like
this.
we've been talking about, like guys, like we want to mention as many sports as we can. We want to talk about and show as many sports as we can from around the globe. But we also don't want to make fun of people in other countries and other sports that we don't know that much about. But we still want to like acknowledge it and give you your due diligence.
You know, it's
and
funny.
time
Before we
on the
move on to
show.
this, somebody sent me like an hour-long documentary on a sport, and after watching it, it was like, God, I'm horrible. I am a horrible person.
What was it?
Wow. Like I learned a lot about hurling, and it was
Oh,
like
man, Jesus.
hurling is
You
like
can't do that, by the
hurling
way.
is
You're now
like
the
the
best
cultural fabric of an entire society work, and like they don't get paid money, and just so like the more I watched it, it like was like wow, I'm a horrible person. The longer I watched it, the more of a horrible person I became.
So the more you
But
watch
I
it,
am still the best hurler.
well, yeah, I was gonna say, did that help you become even better?
I'm researching it. I'm
Yeah.
learning.
You're gonna have to because you're gonna have to do it in a few weeks. I know you're going to Australia. That's your excuse
That's
to
my
like
excuse.
avoiding this.
Hey, what
right
happens
now.
in Australia? Was there any sports down there that transition?
That's a segue. There you go. He's taking
That's
over
I'm
right
learning.
there. Yes, we've been keeping an eye on this, even though you didn't think we were. But Rugby World Cup, it wrapped up this week, and it's so funny because it's the same 2 teams that you saw 4 years ago.
4 years ago, yeah.
It was the All Blacks and France going at it again, and you can guess who won? All Blacks. All Blacks dominated.
And they're the ones that have that awesome dance that's like
Maori.
that's doing
Yeah.
dance. And when people
like a
in
badass
our country
Macarena.
try to do it, it just it does not.
No,
a good
it
idea.
doesn't translate
It's
at
what
all.
Andy Dalton did.
But they have this guy on their team. I don't even know what his name is. He's freaking awesome. Like, I watched this highlight. Somebody sent this to us. Watch it. I don't really know what's going on right here. And I wish I knew the rules better for rugby because it seems like it makes sense. Like, they have
see,
like
that's
a makeshift,
fantastic
like,
catch right there.
and then like, I don't understand this part, how the ball goes back. I guess.
I think they have to pass the ball backwards.
It's always
basically,
backwards?
it's like lateraling in football,
Okay,
right?
watch
And you get-
this
until-
dude. Get the fuck out of my
Oh
way.
man, it's beast
my
mode.
God.
That's like
It's
Marshawn
Marshawn
Lynch's run.
Lynch.
So this guy apparently like scored like 3 times.
They're crazy.
Oh my gosh,
That's a
that
great
was
sport.
unbelievable.
Any
Dude, he pulled over
any
3
sport where
guys.
dudes are missing teeth,
Yeah.
that's a sport. That's a sport.
Yes, that's a sport. Hockey, definitely a sport. So that, we have another one coming up. But, before we get to that, I do want to get to this. I have a beard. I have facial hair. You have facial hair. Sometimes you have to keep that facial hair under control. Some people don't, like Jack. He grows it out and it looks good, and I like that. So for us, though, we have a new sponsor, Harry's. Harry's Razors. These things are pretty cool. So Harry sets you up with a box and a shaving kit for newbies like me who I've never really done that before. I've just trimmed. And they send you an entire kit. It's got shaving cream that lasts for a month. They give you face wash, these really cool, like nice,
Very
like
shiny.
feel that, like it's like heavy.
Oh, that's cool. It's
It's
like
nice.
quality.
And a
Durable.
nice like little holder as well. So like you never like you always put your toothbrush down or your trimmer or whatnot. It just stays right there. They give you this great deal if you go through us, Sportsball. Enter in the promo code. You're gonna get $5 off of your first purchase. Which is a really good deal because it's not that expensive. They give you a bunch of razor blades that should last up to a couple months, including shaving cream for a month as well. So Harry's is great. And so what we're gonna do is, I know we've done some like bits in the past, but I'm gonna hold this up. I'm gonna smile, and then what we're gonna have you guys do is decide which part of my face we should shave. And like you get to Photoshop, you get to do whatever you want. So I'm gonna smile.
Oh, that's a good smile.
Good.
It's a good smile.
Now Photoshop
That's the most
that.
painful looking smile I've ever
Was it
seen in my
really?
life.
Really good smile.
Oh God, the pain, cringing. It's like you have an injury.
Is that good? Is that better?
That's
Is
good.
your
That's-
ACL okay?
Yes.
Okay.
So I wanted to give it up to Harry's. This is awesome. I'm gonna start using this. I'm really glad. Like it's free stuff and it's really cool. It's a really good deal. So I hope you guys use it.
I should do it because I'm one of those guys that like uses razors for like 2 years. I need not to do that.
All right, so let's move on to the other international thing today. That is the F1 series that's coming to Austin. It's coming to our hometown. You know that.
Yeah.
Which is actually a really big deal.
It's really crazy because I can't think of like a bigger cultural shock for like when you think international and in Austin, Texas, it's like they almost kind of don't go together.
Yeah.
So it's this very interesting class. I actually went to the race last year.
Did you really?
Yeah, I
Oh,
did.
nice.
I had seats right on the finish line. And it's like F1's a really interesting sport because basically you had one leader change in the entire race. And it was just sort of, it's also very like, you want to say that certain car companies have certain leads on other ones. And it was just sort of like Mercedes-Benz that year just dominated, right? So the ones that were 1 and 2 were both Mercedes-Benz cars. And Hamilton was like in the number 2 spot, and then he passed and was the number 1 spot. And it's just sort of, it's like very like sort of who has the hot car that year. But I'm kind of a car guy, and it's sort of strange. Like there's a lot of things, like if you go back, they used to have like V12 engines, and then like technology is they're getting so much power in these engines, and they had to move down to V10s and then V8s.
It's like you watch the
And
movie,
now I think they're down to
like,
V6.
the movie Rush. Like that was like really eye opening to like see how big
Oh,
that
it was
was. And
amazing.
like I never knew, like most Americans don't, like I guess how big F1 is.
It's
But
really
it's,
big.
it's so big. It's such a cool thing, and like I was kind of
There's a
like
lot of money
I
behind
booed
it.
it like when it first came, but then like checking it out, I'm like hooked now. I think it's awesome. So like, and it's cool that like Lewis Hamilton and Sebastian Vettel are like neck and neck again. It seems like it's those two guys like every year.
Hamilton's
So I'm excited
crazy,
to see
man.
how that works out. So
Ridiculous.
that's kind of like our international thing. We're gonna try and make that like a bigger deal. I think we should go around the globe more. Do like cricket, do everything else. Maybe we'll get some like correspondents in the field that
If
actually
we could
like,
only
live
combine
there.
the sports of cricket into F1 into one sport, if we could only manage that, then that's going to be interesting.
Fricket.
C1.
Fricket.
Fricket. That's what it's gonna be.
Cricket 1.
All right, so guys, do we want to get to our picks for this weekend?
We can get
do
to
we
our
want to
picks.
get to our picks?
We had a big debate where
Anything
you had
to
some
not
picks
talk about fantasy.
picked out. We should
Oh,
talk
shit.
about. We should
No,
talk about
fantasy.
We should talk
I
about
forgot
fantasy,
that.
Cole.
I forgot about that.
What's going on with fantasy?
Yeah, how's fantasy going for you, buddy?
It's awful.
Let's talk about fantasy.
Apparently the Eagles aren't good. Hear that, Philly?
I disagree. I disagree with you. I mean, they've had a rough start, and everyone was like, Chip Kelly is like, that guy's, it's not going to work. I think it may work. I mean, did you see the game last night? He like dismantled.
Took football back 50 years.
Listen, it's ugly.
Yeah.
But if you see what Chip Kelly is doing with that quarterback, like that's impressive. That quarterback in that system, it's funny because you have
is
two
true.
OU guys, two Oklahoma guys. We're on the same team. You
Yeah.
got
Yeah.
DeMarco Murray and the quarterback. What's his name?
Sam Bradford.
Sam Bradford, yeah, and it's sort of like Sam Bradford is not a good fit for that system. I don't think.
No, he's not. And
Yeah.
neither is DeMarco
Murray
Murray
isn't either.
Yeah,
Ryan
that's the
Matthews is a
thing.
much better fit.
And
for
it's
that
funny, like the
ground and
NFC
pound.
East, that's the one division in football where it's just sort of like interesting, right? Because all a lot of the other divisions, like, well, the Pats are going to win that one. Even Indianapolis, they suck, but they're going to win theirs.
Yeah.
The Phoenix, the Cardinals are going to win their division. NFC East, I mean, I don't know what's going to happen there, and especially like the timing of like who comes back from the Cowboys.
Yeah.
We were talking earlier today. I was like, well, the Eagles and the Giants. The good thing the Eagles won yesterday because the Cowboys still have players to come back. That's the team that the Eagles and Giants are stuck with.
Yeah, seriously.
here, like, that is
it's
who they
insane.
have.
Yeah,
It's
that's who they
really
are.
funny too because you can almost tell like where it's like if you're an NFL head coach and like you came from college and you're doing poorly, not only do you have to endure the interview at the end of the game where it's like, hey, you suck, yeah, thanks. You also have to endure like, oh, so I hear you're going to USC. I hear what college team are you going
that
for, right? Where it's like
definitely going to start.
yeah. I mean, it's already started,
go back,
right? Where
huh?
it's just sort of like
Put on big boy pants and now go back.
Like you look at the Seahawks, right? They're like 3-3, and like they're already there's like, hey, let's bring what's his face from from Seattle back down to USC,
Yeah.
Pete Carroll,
Pete
right?
Carroll back down.
Pete Carroll had to come out and be like, listen, I love USC, I'm not coming back.
Yeah.
I'm not coming back.
Yeah.
But I don't know, man. Chip Kelly. I mean, I think it could work. I think you just got to give him more time. You got to give him a quarterback.
If you make the postseason, then that's all that matters. If you make the playoffs, I mean, I think that's how you keep your job. He does have to find a quarterback. People are going to wonder why did he get rid of so many guys and go pick up guys like DeMarco Murray where it doesn't fit his system, like whatsoever.
I mean,
and neither does Sam Bradford.
DeMarco Murray is a incredibly talented running back, and when I say he doesn't fit the system, it's because of his paycheck. Like his paycheck, he's a great running back.
Yeah, he's
but
great.
It's too much money emphasized on one guy in one position for the system, right?
Absolutely.
And they don't have a good line. So
No, they don't.
Cowboys had an amazing line, and so that's what allowed DeMarco Murray to be so good. And now Philly doesn't. And
he's had under 40 touches on the year thus far.
Oh, yeah.
And we're like in a week 7 right now.
Yeah.
Like it's insane. And that's your starting
first
running
game to
back.
break 100 yards last night.
But I still think it's going to be a race to see who wins that division. You know,
I didn't
think
watch
it's a
that
race
game
to
last night. Really.
I think it's a race for Dez and Romo to come back, and then.
Well, they were saying that Dez was going to be coming back, possibly this Sunday.
This week,
maybe.
yeah. Maybe.
He's saying he's coming back.
I believe in Dez. Like I love Dez, and
I
I
believe
hope
in
he
Dez.
does
I
come
also
back.
believe in modern medicine. And
Well, you look at what Adrian Peterson did, right? That guy came back in ways that people didn't think it was possible. But it's sort of funny. Like earlier, you had picks where it's like, hey, let's pick our midseason, victors, and you had like, the AFC champion and the NFC champion, and it's sort of like. It's not that, to me, it's not that hard. I think it's like boils down to like sort of like in the AFC, who do you have? You have like the Pats, right? That's obvious.
And the Pats.
And the Bengals, right?
Bengals is the other one,
Bengals,
which makes no sense, but
They're
doing it.
They're doing
You
it.
can't stop
They're doing it.
People are saying that they might have, it's either the Cowboys or the Bengals that might have like the best offensive line in football.
Yeah. I can
They're
see it,
also
yeah.
saying that the Bengals have like the best pieces in the NFL. People like the former linebacker for Baltimore, Ray Lewis, was saying this might be one of the best teams I've ever seen.
Yeah.
If he's saying that means something.
Yeah, he also killed a guy, so fuck that.
that's
is what I would say. Fuck Ray Lewis.
perhaps one of his critics, but I don't know. I mean, the Bengals, it's just sort of like, again with the picks, it's like, well, who do I want to pick? Do I want to pick the obvious team or like the Bengals?
Bengals are the dark horse.
They're the dark horse, but I think they're going to be there, right? And it's just sort of like you have Andy Dalton, who is better than he's ever been, but he's not considered like an elite quarterback.
But
He's
that's
not.
always been his
under
problem
there.
is keeping AJ Green healthy, keeping Jeremy
for
Hill
sure.
healthy.
And that defensive line with Geno Atkins,
Yeah.
for sure. And that's going to be the thing. 2 words, Marvin Lewis.
Yes.
Sucks in the postseason. Just not happening for the Bengals. I don't buy it
You
at
don't think
all.
so?
No, I don't buy it at all. I just don't.
I think they'll be there at the end, though, right? I mean, who else do you have, right?
Has Dalton-
You've got the Broncos.
We've got the Broncos, which is amazing. They're about to pull the Broncos back in 08, 09 with Josh McDaniels. They started off 6-0 and then they just bottomed out.
I will say,
how they're 6-0 is fucking beyond me. Peyton Manning, you're fucking old, dude.
Everyone-
you're not good anymore.
Everyone is thinking what you're saying.
Yes.
And again, Brandon sent that article at the beginning of the year where it's like Manning can't feel his fingers. Okay, so that's not good.
Manning can't see the field.
Who
We're
are
saying
the
the same
four?
thing.
Who
We're
are
saying-
the 4 leaders in the AFC? You have the Patriots. They're awesome.
Patriots,
you
you
have
have
the
the
Bengals.
Broncos.
You have the Broncos.
Broncos, yeah.
Everyone agrees the Broncos. That's not going to happen. And you've got the Colts, right? Okay, so those are your 4 choices. What is there to even talk about, right? So
not.
it's the
Pats.
Patriots
It's the Pats.
or the Bengals.
It's the Pats.
But if it's the Pats, why are we?
So, if you go talent for talent, the Pats will win because of coaching.
We talked about this last week, and indeed, I did research. I did actual research where we were talking about parity in sports, and somebody sent me an article out of Cora. Now, if it's Cora, they know what they're talking about, and sure enough, statistically, mathematically, if you crunch the numbers, and if you look at the 4 professional sports. The one that has the most amount of parity is, guess what it is, of the 4 major sports. What has the most parity?
Cool.
Take a guess.
You're on the spot.
What
Dun, 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 dun.
What of the 4 major leagues has the most amount of games per season?
Baseball.
Baseball. So baseball has the most amount of parity. After that, you have NHL, and you have basketball,
Hockey,
right?
basketball, football.
So those two are the next two in the middle, and the least amount of parity is the one with the least amount of games. It's the NFL. The NFL has the least amount of parity. And now the way they did the numbers was they were just doing it season by season. So maybe there's a thing there, but it's like it's obvious if you take a step back. And they said the least amount of parity was college football, which I guess is sort of obvious. But if you build in you kind of know that as a fan, you build in expectations. It's still interesting because you have such a lack of parity, you still have upsets. That's what makes it interesting. But I don't know. Do you want to talk about the NFC?
No.
I think NFC,
again, it's the same story in the NFC,
I think
right?
the NFC, the safe choice is Packers.
I think it's the Packers a safe choice. Yeah.
It's the same story in the NFC.
Dark
This is what we're
horses-
talking about.
For me, dark horses Cardinals.
Okay, here's your four divisional leaders. You ready? You got the Panthers.
I don't see it
That's-
sticking around.
That's the Cam Newton
Posers.
show, right?
Posers.
Yeah, posers.
Right. Okay, so you got the
Sorry,
Packers, right?
Packers.
You got the Eagles. What's
No.
going to happen there? And you have
No.
the Cardinals.
I think it's Packers and Cards.
Packers.
Right. So again, we're back full circle. So
Yeah.
we have Packers and Patriots.
And that's what's going to happen. That's
It's
what's
just
going to
sort of
happen.
like-
It's going to be.
Yeah.
It's
Is
going to be
it-
awesome. We're going to love it.
Is it even a sport anymore? Although you can say, let's say Brady goes down, then what happens, right? Or let's say
Rodgers goes down.
Rodgers
Yeah.
goes down, then it's just sort
Which
of
has
like
happened.
unheard of,
Which has
yeah.
happened a few times. Well, Rodgers has gone down
Though-
a few times.
No, yeah, that's what I'm saying.
could-
Like
yeah.
that's happened before.
Yeah,
Like that's
for
not
sure,
out of the realm of
yeah.
possibility.
So that can happen.
And I did all that deflecting for Cole to talk about the NFL to take the subject off the fact that his team is doing terrible.
Yeah.
Dude, your team sucks. I'm sorry.
It
I love
does.
you, but it's
I
bad.
put faith in the wrong people.
You did. That's what happens.
Brandon
man.
Cooks.
Brandon Cooks.
The real question
Bust.
is that
Jesus.
the real question is a lot of us, this is like our first time through fantasy, and Jack, that evil bastard, had a head start on us, and he, being the evil genius that he is that I was like, Jack, listen, I don't know a lot about this, so I know you're going to help me. He's like, yes, Joel, I will help you.
Never
Bah,
trust.
ha,
Yeah,
ha,
yeah.
ha,
You
ha,
can
ha.
never trust anybody when they say they're going to help you with
Yeah.
your team. I mean, I do that shit all the time to people I'm playing against. Yeah, it's like, yeah, dude, I'll take a look at your lineup. Yeah, you definitely want to sit him.
And he says
But-
to me, hey, listen, quarterbacks aren't that important. So you just wait on taking the
Did
quarterback.
he really say that?
He's in
We have
relationship
a Slack.
That is not cool.
Okay.
That is not
Okay.
cool.
in his defense.
That is offensive. Can we
In
bring
it-
up the Michigan fan that's doing the thing? This
God,
is Jack.
why?
This
If you're
is-
doing this, you're gonna get that reaction. That's fucked up. Don't be doing that shit.
In Jack's defense, during the draft, he did wait a
Quarterbacks
couple. He
don't-
did wait.
He waited for Brady.
But that's my point, though,
Who's
right?
his
He waited,
quarterback?
but-
Who was his quarterback?
That's what I'm saying. He picked Brady. He picked Brady, and he's
That-
leading the league. You can't say
Sly
that quarterbacks
Fox.
aren't that important than to pick Brady. You can't do that. You can't say the sentence "quarterbacks are not important" and then pick Brady. That's why I want to get Brady off of his team.
Slack forum where he says the exact opposite.
God, it's just it's ridiculous, and I don't
and I
understand.
thought I could trust this man sitting to my right. I don't think I can anymore.
Who's Gronkowski?
It's
that-
probably Jack, and
that-
probably like, oh, tight ends who are 6'8".
I
they're
believe John
important.
Reisinger. John Reisinger.
That's the other thing that's
John
going on in the
does.
NFL, which is a mystery to me, which we talked about in like week 3, or like the first week of the season, where it was Gronkowski off the snap, had nobody covering him. And he
can't.
runs out into the field, they throw him a ball, and he scores a touchdown. And again, it
Did you
happened.
watch him Sunday?
It happened last night again, where it's just sort of like, guys, where are the defensive coordinators? If you see a tight end, assign someone to him.
On his
Put a linebacker on him.
his
It's not that hard.
On his touchdown Sunday, he drug a guy like 20 yards. The guy's hanging on his arm. He's like,
oh
stop,
my God, he's
please,
unbelievable.
stop.
He's a matchup nightmare.
It's the same thing's going on in Carolina with Olsen. The same thing's going on with the Browns, where these tight ends are running like fucking free gazelle through the backfield,
Catching
and
with
no
their
one's
feet.
covering
They're
them.
catching with their feet.
I don't understand what's going on. Just freaking cover. Is it that much of a mysterious process to have a tight end lined up and not cover him? It happened to Seattle. They scored a touchdown on
Yep.
Seattle, and at the end of the day, like, who had them covered?
Well, you look at who was best player on the Saints this past week, Ben Watson.
There you go.
Tight end.
Tight ends are
It's not
safety
even that
blankets.
good.
People love them.
The whole NFL, it's like we're living in a world where everything is underneath passes and tight ends running around free with no clothes on in the backfield, people throwing the balls.
Joel's upset. Let's get to the picks. Let's get to the picks and get him out of here.
I'm ready to be defensive coordinator.
And after what? Yeah, we're coming after
Cover the
Jack.
tight end. That's all you need to do.
I have words for Jack next week. Oh my lord.
Well, in his defense, he did wait a couple rounds just to select Brady, but he did nonetheless. But
that's bad.
I'm just
It's
like,
just bad.
who's going to beat him? Who's going to beat Jack?
I'm going to beat him eventually. Jeff might. Jeff is going
lost
up
already.
against. No, I'm saying like, yeah, but they're playing this week, right?
I thought they played last week.
I would like to.
Oh, no, they're
Jeff
playing this
lost.
week.
They're playing this week.
I would like to suggest that if you take a look at the scoreboard 2 weeks in a row, their team that has scored the most points 2
Wasn't
weeks in a
me.
row.
Yeah, but your team fucking sucks, man.
No, my team
You
is.
got lucky.
We are.
You got lucky.
I am. No. If you look at my point spreads of my guys.
He did pick up Dalton. He picked up Dalton.
Well, but it's not
Dalton's
just
been
Dalton.
crazy.
If you look at again, I picked people with injuries.
Yes, you
and I was
did.
like, I'm gonna sit. I'm gonna wait. I'm gonna pick people with injuries. I'm gonna wait. It worked.
Did Jack tell you the opposite? He probably told
Injured
you to
people
start
aren't
them.
important.
Yeah, they're important. You need to start them. They might play.
I don't know. We'll see if
All
Adrian.
right, let's get through these picks real quick so
Are
we
we
can get
doing
out
new
of here
picks,
because we're
new
almost
picks?
out of time.
Was
All
that-
right,
was that too much around?
our picks for episode 9. We have the ALCS. I want you guys to give me the winner. Before you do, can we get an update from Nick?
It's the 8th inning. Kansas City leads at 9-2.
Oh, what did I say? I said before the show, this is a no-brainer. Oh, I'm
Well,
sorry.
then pick it.
Royals.
Thank you. Cole.
Royals.
Royals. All right, we're going to...
Although they're scoring a lot of
You
runs.
just fucking picked... It's in.
No, it's in. I'm just
Just
saying.
in. Well, then
I
we're moving on to the next
I
one.
did have a tiny contradiction
pick?
where I said.
What is your contradiction then? What is it?
There's
Can
a
we-
lot. There are a lot of runs being scored in that game. So if it
There
gets
are.
out of hand, it's going to go. to
Okay,
the Blue Jays.
now who'd you pick then?
Royals.
Thank you. All right, moving on. NLCS, Cubs, Mets. Who you
Mets.
got?
The Fighting Bartolo Colones.
Mets.
Cubs. I'm not giving up on you guys just yet. All right, San Francisco versus Seattle.
Easy.
Both these
Seahawks.
teams suck. All right.
Seattle.
Seattle's last
I'm
year.
going Seattle.
Last year, Seattle started and correct me if I'm wrong, stat guy. They started 3-3 and then just went on a tear, right?
Yes, they
So
did.
they're kind of in the same position.
No, they're not. All right, moving on to the next. James Madison versus the Richmond Spiders. Game day. Get out there, put up a sign. Who do you guys got?
Dukes.
I have James Madison because I was near there in Virginia.
I'm taking the Dukies
On
too.
the second page of Google, I found out.
You found out? All right, and then last, F1 is in town this weekend, which is really cool. Lewis Hamilton or the field? Who are you guys taking?
Year 1, Hamilton won the first year, and then he won last year also.
I'm saying hat trick.
I'm saying hat trick too. I think Hamilton.
I'm taking the field. I'm taking the field. I don't believe in you.
You're crazy, man.
I don't believe in you. I do. I think you're awesome, but
I
I'm taking the field.
I could have some. If you want to
right.
hear the greatest sound you've ever heard in your entire life, there was a Ferrari F12 Formula One car. It's like a 1988 Ferrari. Look that up. That is the greatest sound.
No,
you'll
I think
ever
the
hear.
greatest sound in the world is that one guy crying. I think for Michigan State fans.
Yeah, they got it. They were on the spot.
And then play the one behind it
Can
for
some-
the Michigan fans that hate us.
Can
What
somebody
does he
combine
do?
the sound of that engine and that guy crying into one sound?
I want to see it one more time before we get out of here, and then we can go home, Patrick. Just one more time. Show me the Michigan fan flicking us off. Just one more time. Fuck yeah! All right, that's it for Sportsball. Thanks again. Go check out the website. I have journal entries about a few different things. College game day,
Red Sox,
dongs, and
It's like-
anything else, Joel, before we go?
The guy flicking off the camera, it's like losing to the weird neighbor who lights things on fire. It's like the redheaded, who kills insects and it's obnoxious.
That's exactly who that was. All right, later, guys. We're out of here.